Hey y'all cigar box guitar gurus. I've been getting a lot of questions about what saw did I use to do that and how did you put that hole in there without messing up the backside and things like that. So I wanted to go over a few standard tools that I keep right here on my table just for me to use for the cigar boxes. Now, I am a carpenter. This is what I do for a living. So a lot of these tools I've collected over the years, and some of them I bought specifically for guitars. That does not mean it has to be expensive. Like I said, I've been doing this for years. I have tried the expensive tools and I've tried the cheap tools. And 90% of the time, the cheap tool is going to do the job. Now, if you're doing something over and over and over again, you want to go with a more expensive tool because it's just that much better. Take a plane, for instance. This is just an old, and when I say old, it's an old Cobalt plane. But this thing does whatever I want it to do when I go to use it because I know how to sharpen the plane and I know how to set the plane. You're not necessarily going to need that. But, like I said, it's a cheaper tool. I think this thing cost me $15. That might have been the other plane that cost me $15. This might have been the one I found at, I don't know, pawn shop or something. Who knows? I just keep things around like that because I use them. Same thing with squares. This is 2 of 750 of these things that I've got. It just depends on where I'm at. I got a couple in the shop, a couple in the truck, a couple in the trailer. I've always got a square. I got little squares. I got big squares. It just, whatever you need. And that's a speed square. That's not a framing square. I've got framing squares laid all over the place. I got these little compound squares here where you can get 45s and 90s and they slide back and forth. It's adjustable. They make these things in 6 inch, make them in 12 inch, they make them huge. You can do a lot with that. A bevel gauge, set it, make your angles, all that stuff. You don't need that. It's not necessary. I'm just showing you some things that I got laying around here just because I got them. All right. Now, when you're doing cigar boxes and you want to take them apart and things like that, you'll want some little razor blades like this. These things come in handy. It's good for the stickers and whatnot, cutting the tops off the boxes if that's the route you want to go. Keeps you from busting the paper. But I got these from Harbor Freight, I think. You don't need that. You can use this. This is a box cutter. Now this is a fancy channel lock box cutter or razor knife. Don't have a blade in it right now, but I didn't spend the whatever amount of money it was for that. I found this one. I use a Milwaukee old fastback. I like those. But instead of getting this, you can get one of those. If you got one of those, use it. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't break the bank. I just want to give y'all a list of things that I can do to help you because I've never been able to this point, been able to get you what I've got. And now I've got Amazon affiliate, so I can link you to it and it can come straight to you. If you can't get out and get it or you don't want to go to 15 different stores to get it. Now, keep in mind, a lot of this stuff you can get at Walmart. You can get a speed square at Walmart. You can get the razor knives at Walmart in the craft department. All that stuff you can get at Walmart. These cutters you can get at Walmart. You can get them at Lowe's, Home Depot. Shoot, you probably get them things at Dollar General by now. I don't know. But more specific things like these kind of pliers or cutters, things like that. It all depends on how in-depth you want to get with it. Now, as far as saws, like I said, I'm a carpenter. I've got drill press, chop saw, table saw. I'm sitting on the table saw. A band saw, radial arm saw, that thing, scroll saw over there. I don't use all that stuff in here. I use this kind of stuff. This is a miter box. I think this came from Home Depot. I ain't gonna lie to you and say for sure that it did. But I'll put a link to Amazon for one of these. And those things all work about the same. That's a cheap Stanley. That's all I can say. It's cheap Stanley. You can get little sets of files like this. Harbor Freight, Home Depot, whatever. I'll put a set of these in a link so you can see. Chisels. Chisels are not an absolute necessity, but they sure are handy. I'll put a link to those. Something that you're really going to want to have if you do several of these guitars especially, you're going to want to have some Brad Point drill bits. Brad Point, it's got that, well, I don't know if I can get over there. Which way? There we go. Right there. You see that big old spike in the middle of it. It's a brad point. Keeps things center, drills the hole. You can get a set of these and a set of these Forstner bits. Same basic premise with the spike in the middle of it. This just cuts a bigger hole clean. Now, you can buy these things. You can say, okay, my jack is a certain size, so that's one I'm gonna need. My pots are a certain size, so that's one I'm gonna need. You can buy these things individually. However, you will pay more buying them individually than just buying a $15, $20, $30 set. And you'll have the whole set. So keep that in mind. That one drill bit right there, I think that thing cost me $7. You can go to Harbor Freight or something like that and get the whole set, like 20 pieces for like $25. So depends on how far you're gonna go with it. All this stuff, fret saw, fret hammer. What else for the frets? You can get fret wire on Amazon too. Just be careful, because some of that stuff is janky. If you're doing a cigar box guitar, you don't want the curved stuff. It'll come pre-curved. You don't want that. You'll never get it flattened back out, and you'll never be able to get the buzz out of your guitar. All right, this kind of stuff. I did get this from CB Giddy, but I got this from Harbor Freight, I think. You don't have to have one of these little small ones. But CB Giddy, this cost me, I think that cost me $20, close to it, and this cost me like $4. But you can get the whole set. You can get a fret saw, a hammer, a fret rocker, which is that triangle looking thing that rocks up and down the frets. I got one somewhere, don't know what to do with it. And a couple other things in a set for like $25. Now, if you're not going to build more than a couple of these things, man, that is worth the money. Even if you do build more, you'll still have the hammer, you'll still have all the other stuff. Fret saw might wear out faster, but by that time, sell a guitar and buy you a better fret saw. Clamps. You cannot have enough clamps. Now, these are old Bessie clamps. This one come from Home Depot. I've got other ones that come from other places. I've got 11,700 of these things. These are good. The C-clamps that you tighten up like this, those are good. I just don't like them because they're long-winded. You'll be there forever. These are the best I've found. The little squeeze clamps, wouldn't necessarily suggest those because you can't get enough pressure on them. And when you're squeezing down on them, whatever you're gluing together wants to slip. So you're always having to tap everything back in position. That fret crowning file, that will come in the set with these things. And it's like $25 or $30. Or you can buy this for $20 and this for $15. And this on the website, I don't know how much it is, but it's got to be more than the $3 or $4 I paid for it at Harbor Freight. But just little things like that. I don't want people going broke trying to find this stuff. You don't have to go to the highest bidder to get this stuff. Like I said, I'm a carpenter. I use one of these just about every day. This is a drill I got an impact in the truck. This is a Cobalt. This comes from Lowe's. All right. In the grand scheme of things, if you don't do this every day, this thing is expensive. Okay. You can get a set of Cobalt stuff with the drill driver, impact, and a battery and a charger for like, I don't know, $200. But that is way cheaper than the $500 for the DeWalt stuff. I do not use DeWalt stuff for the simple fact that when I go on a job site and I set this down, I know it's mine. Somebody gets up and walks off with something blue, it's mine. I'm gonna chase you down for it. Everybody likes DeWalt, however you say it. They like that stuff. I go with something like this and I don't lose my equipment. But the same mental process goes into building out my shop. Now, there's some tools I've got that's fairly expensive that gets broken out only when necessary. But stuff like this that I'm only going to use occasionally here and there, I don't have a problem buying something cheaper. It's a lot better on my pocketbook. Chisels. I got a bunch of chisels. I got those chisels up there for carving. I got these chisels right here for just straight chiseling. That's part of that set. But you can get a chisel set like this. It's got the rasp on the bottom, round rasp on the other side, little file on the inside right here. But it's a sharp chisel. You can get little sets like this. I got this one. I got one that was a little bit skinnier than this, but I broke it. Then I got one that's about that wide, and it come in a set, and it was like $8. You can't beat that. I'll put a link in the description on Amazon where you can find a set like that. You don't have to have the most expensive stuff you can find. These things right here, you can find anywhere. Walmart, probably the Dollar General, if you got a good one around you. I don't know if there is such thing. But anyways, I just want to step in here and say, I got basic tools that I use to do this with. And this will do everything I need it to do. The saws, this kind of flush cut saw that bends so you can cut little pegs and stuff like that. That right there is what I cut my boxes open with to get the square end where your neck goes. I'll use a coping saw. If it gives me a problem, I can go inside that box and cut it this way, and this thing can adjust any which direction I want to go. C holes, F holes, whatnot in the top of your box you can do with this after you drill a hole. You don't need that. Drill a hole, put some screen up under it, call it a day. I do that a lot. Or drill a hole and drop something in it. You got a sound hole. But that's where you want Forstner bits and stuff like that to make good holes. You can do that with regular old hole saws, but hole saws are aggressive and they'll hurt you. Just throwing that out there. Sometimes you got to have them, sometimes you don't. But just want to make things simple for you. I'm going to put a big list down in the description so you can see what it is that I've got listed there and the link directly to it to Amazon. It won't cost you anymore. Might make me a couple pennies. 3% on $2 is not very much. But I want you to be able to get it. I want you to be able to get what you need. Something that's going to work effectively without being so dablame expensive that you don't even want to do this. It's already bad enough you got to go buy this high dollar lumber and stuff to build these things. But I'll link all this stuff and we'll all be on the same page. If there's any questions, any more questions that you have about what I'm using or where I got it from, don't be afraid. Hit me up. I'll answer your questions. A lot of this stuff is coming through my email. Y'all don't see some of these questions down there with the replies and stuff, but a lot of people are hitting me in my email, and I want to make available what I've got. I'm not going to hide anything. I'm not using anything expensive. Now, there is a caveat to that. There is a saw blade on Amazon that's $130-something, and I'm not sure that don't come from StewMac. I'm not sure, but it's a little bitty saw blade. It's about that big, and the arbor, which is the hole through the middle of it, is the right size for my baby travel table saw. I may actually set that up to do frets, just so we can kind of evolve. I don't build them fast enough to need anything other than this. I just don't. It'll take me a couple weeks to build a guitar because I'm going to take my time. I'm going to let the glue dry like it's supposed to dry. I'm going to let everything set. Once I get everything put together, I'm going to let the wood stabilize with the strings on it. It's going to be 3 or 4 days before I'm actually really playing that thing. Strings got to stretch. Wood's got to acclimate. All this stuff. So it takes a couple weeks to build one, get it together, get it tested, and then get it out. So that is all you need. But I am going to build a jig, and I'm going to get one of those expensive saw blades just so y'all can see if you ever want to go that way, and be able to do frets, which means I have to make me a fret sliding jig, and that's a whole nother process. We'll get into that. But anyways, any more questions, anything you need to know, any tools you want to know of, or if you don't want hand tools, you want a suggestion on the next best thing, like a power tool of some sort, I'll give you that too. I do this for a living. Not cigar box guitars, but I build things for a living. So I know my tools, and I know what's good, and I know what's the most expensive. So if you got any questions, hit me up. I'll answer you. But that's all I got for now. All right then. Bye.